obviously, let's say you're over 40 or something. One of the important things about TRT that I don't think people really bring up is for an older guy, when you're on TRT, you don't have to do as much volume to maintain muscle mass and strength.
Right? It's like, because whoever he gets his shit from is the same person that these people did.
Yeah.
And when he first showed it to me, I'm looking at it, and my immediate thought was, oh, this is their order. You know, like, this is what they ordered for like 8 weeks, right? And it's like, no. And what threw me off was the amount of milligrams of orals per day. Because it said like 150 to 200. I'm like, they're not ordering like 200 milligrams for an 8-week cycle.
Yeah.
You know, it's not what it is. And then he's like, no, this is per week.
Oh, my God.
And it was the average between, and there were big names associated with it, which is probably bullshit, right? But the average was between 7 and 15 grams a week.
Jesus. Mark Bartley said it best. They traded one gear for another.
One gear. Oh, yeah.
Good thing he took those knee wraps off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess now we got the QRF, which is going to save him from all that, right?
But holy shit. Like, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is sometimes I think these are the guys selling stuff, so they're telling all these guys.
Yeah. Well, in this case, that's where that list came from, somebody that was selling.
But maybe, you know, I've heard stories and, you know, maybe some of this. It's funny because when we were training, it was guys would lie consistently about how little they took.
Yeah.
You know, I call it the Carolina CC. The guys from like North Carolina, South Carolina, just taking 250, and then like 2 weeks before the meet, I take 1 Anadrol a day.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, you're fucking as red as that chair right there. Go fuck you, and you're squatting 1,200. You're not.
Well, everybody now is on the TRT dose.
Oh yeah, it doesn't count.
Competitors. Right?
Yeah,
We were talking beforehand about TRT for real. You know, the TRT doses, which you made a really good point.
Yeah.
You know, that expand on that a little bit.
Well, I never heard this mentioned, but I'm sure someone has. It's especially with, obviously, let's say you're over 40 or something. One of the important things about TRT that I don't think people really bring up is for an older guy, when you're on TRT, you don't have to do as much volume. Lift is heavy, all that other stuff, to maintain muscle mass and strength, and that saves your joints, saves everything. And I think that's super important. That doesn't mean you're taking a gram a week, but just a little boost, man, can keep your knees and back and neck, all that stuff, without having to do a million sets like you used to do. And of course, with our background, you don't have to do all that stuff anyway when you have that base, but still, man, it takes its toll. And so I just, if you are going to go down that route, I think it's as long as you know what you're doing and know, you know, you're taking a drug. And I think people need to understand that.
Yeah. When I think with training, I heard this explained one time that when you're younger, like the kids that you're working with, and probably, who knows on the age, say under 25, you know, the first thing is to train hard. Your first priority is to train hard. The second priority is to not get hurt.
Yeah.
Right. Then you start to get a little older, you get a little banged up. The first priority is to not get hurt. And then the second is to train hard. Then the third stage is when you get, you know, 55, 60 or whatever it is just keep training, because that's going to enable the quality of life.
Yes.
You know, when you're 65, to be able to get the milk out of the fucking container.
Yeah. Well,
you know, stand out of bed, have sex.
I trained.
That's all I'm worried about.
Yeah, I trained early this morning. I didn't do my usual stuff because it was early, and I don't usually. But anyway, I'm like, all I care about is feeling okay after this workout.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I care. As long as I feel fit and ready to go, I'll be solid. So, I just. The older I get, man, like we're talking earlier about my oldest son, and he trains like a fucking animal. And I'm like, man, it always makes me happy because he's doing it, and then makes me mad because I'm like, I can't even come close to the shit that he's doing. And that's the circle of training life, you know. But the good thing is I don't need to do that, you know, that anymore.
Yeah.
I can still be in fairly good shape. Like, I'm not going to go play a football game or pass selection anytime soon, but you know what? I don't need to.
Yeah.
So that's the other good thing. You know,
It cracks me up because when I was driving in here this morning, you know, For Those About to Rock came on, you know, the fucking radio or whatever it was. You know, I'm like turning it up, then it hit me. I'm like, you know what? I used to like listen to this for a half hour before football practice in junior high, just to fucking go out there and fucking kill people, you know?
Yeah.
And then I, you know, then it's like I used to listen to this and for like, then afterwards I'd think about training. And now it's like I'm like, no, I'm turning it down. Like I've heard this fucking thing way too much. Like maybe in the gym, you know, but then it dawned on me that I don't even think about my training, where before I would think about it.
Yeah.
Like the whole drive in, you're just like fucking taking check drops, you know, and banging your head against the steering wheel, listening to Sepultura to come in and warm up.
Yeah. Well, I always, when I train my youngest son, we train 3 days a week, and that's when I introduce him to all the music. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, today we listened to Lord Mantis recently. And it finally got him to understand. Like I asked, like, who plays drums in Slayer? Dave Lombardo.
Duh.
So, but this is like my way of like introducing him to this shit, you know. And then it makes the training tolerable for me. So, because kids will drive me nuts.